Okay, I think you've pretty much touched on this question,
Yes.
but I'm going to ask you again, just in case you want to chuck anything else in there. But how did the love of comics start for you? So it started at Action Man.
So yeah, Action Man probably was my first kind of comic books that I read and loved and stuff. But my love for comic books comes from my grandfather, who
Okay.
was the biggest hoarder I've ever met in my entire life. You've heard of Steptoe and Son, yeah? The whole
Yeah.
like ridiculous yard where there's like he literally got everything. That was my granddad's house. But when he passed away, unfortunately, like quite a few years ago, they moved his chair. As they moved his chair, they realised there was about 6 foot behind his chair to make the room bigger. Like he just got junk behind his chair.
Oh my
He was
God.
just a hoarder, man. He had everything, but he had some. I don't even know what they were off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure they were some kind of Superman, maybe Batman comics. So they might have been some of the really old school books because
Yeah.
he was around. He was alive during the war and stuff. But yeah, he had these comic books I was never allowed to touch. I was only ever allowed to look at them through the glass panel.
Yeah.
I could never touch them. And then obviously Superman, and you see the TV shows and things, and I was like, I really want to read these books.
Yeah.
So then my mum went out and like bought me the Action Man comics because I could rip them a bit.
That's so cool. Well, coolish if he was a hoarder. I mean, I assume it wasn't just comics.
No, Eddie Stobart trucks. He had all of those. He
I've got a
collected.
bit of thing with them.
Yeah.
The thing with because all of them have women's names on the sides and on the fronts.
Oh, right, okay. Is that a modern thing, or has that always been like that?
I don't know, but like ever since I've been a kid, any Eddie Stobart fan, if you look at the front or the side of the bumper,
Yeah.
there's a woman's name, and every single one is different. So I guess
I think they name the cabs, don't they? Is that right?
Yeah.
They name the cabs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did a TV show about it.
Yeah, it's just I've always just enjoyed like driving past one. Sometimes it's been a bit dangerous. I'm like trying to like
just want to see what the name is.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that's
what's this called? Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Sorry, carry on. I just wanted to talk about that.
He used to collect Eddie Stobart trucks because we used to go to a lot of toy fairs because my cousin Mark is similar to me. Like he's a nerd who grew up during a period of time where you couldn't be a nerd, and he ended up having to look after his mom and his dad because they weren't well. And then he kind of like came with us, and he got us all going to the toy fairs. It was incredible. Well, I had such a good childhood with my grandfather going to all these toy fairs and things, which is how I got into Transformers because I wanted a Bruticus. That was the first Transformer I really wanted, was a Bruticus. And then my mom bought me a Optimus Prime Power Master, which was just insane. And I still have it.
Nice.
Anyway, so he had Eddie Stobart things. He had Transformers. He had a replica gun from RoboCop. He had John Wayne memorabilia. He had all the wrestling figures, like all the original wrestling figures and the things. Never played with any of these things. I was never allowed to touch any of these things.
I know.
And he used to get... Do you remember those things you could get? Those they're like fantasy creatures with a little crystal. Do you ever have those?
I don't
they're
think
like
so.
Dragons or like they're silver, and then they'd have like a little crystal on them.
Yeah.
I had fucking loads of those. Excuse my language. This is a kids show.
It's fine. My dad had loads of them, and he when I was like teenagery, he let me have like pretty much most of them in my bedroom on my shelves and stuff.
That's cool. I was never allowed anywhere. No.
Yeah, they were. I think when I was a kid, a teenager, I had a bit of an obsession with those kind of dragon statues. Not the silver ones, but like, you go into those kind of shops that smell of incense. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
The smell of incense.
And they've always got these massive dragon statues.
You're a teenager going into these shops. Okay, I see. I understand.
Yeah, we'll cut that now.
My mom's probably watching.
So yeah, he's a bit of a hoarder. Have you taken that kind of mentality, that hoarding?
Yes, but only with comic books.
Yeah,
I don't tend to have it with anything else that I know of off the top of my head. I'm sure my fiance would say different. But yeah, I definitely hoard books for sure.
What's your count looking like at the moment?
Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, I got 10 short boxes of comics, which isn't
Right.
too.
Yeah.
2 of them are full of J. Scott Campbell artworks, and 3 of them are full of Transformers books.
Nice.
The rest
That's
are kind of like bits and bobs.
Bits and bobs. Bits and bobs. How? So you're an artist.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, I probably hoard paper. I've got a lot of scrap paper.
What? Just blank paper?
Just stuff that I've doodled on in the corner, and instead of like cutting the corner off and using the paper, I've kind of put that in my portfolio. It's like you've got a whole blank page here, mate. You can fill up.
Yeah, but look at this bit here.
Yeah, just look at this little teeny weeny bit that I've done.
Really proud of that little bit. It's really good.
Actually, I probably hoard quite a bit of stuff thinking about it.
Yeah. Oh, don't think about it too much. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Next.
It's never happened. We didn't talk about it.
So, was it art that made you like being an artist? Did that make you like the art in comics, or was it the art in comics that made you an artist?
It was the art in comics that made me an artist, mate. 100%. Todd McFarlane, mate. If I hadn't have picked up my first Spawn comic, I don't think I'd have become an artist. So I thank my mom for that.
That's cool.
Because I think I probably would have still gone down the route of something art related, because my grandfather liked art, my dad liked art, and my Uncle John was a tattooist. So there's a lot of art in my family, but I never thought of it as a career until I read my first Spawn comic, and I was like, oh my God, people are getting paid for this.
You gotta get into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that completely changed when I got to university, and I was like, oh my God, people are getting paid to make these things move, right? So I'm going to be an animator. And now I'm neither an animator or a comic book artist. I'm a graphic designer.
Oh, so did you do your own logo?
I did.
Yeah. Can we see in the top? There it is. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Did my own logo. Do all my own artwork. Not quite
nice.
Not quite .com.
Yeah.
Did my own website.
Mate, that's great. I should have come to you for a new logo. I went on Fiverr for my new logo.
Oh, right, okay.
Next one, I'll come to you.
Yeah,
I keep it in the family, if you will.
Keep it in the UK community. I think I'm actually helping Hydra out with his next one.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to help Rich out with his.
Hydra's is awesome.
Yeah, I like
Hydra's. Yeah, it's really cool. In the video that's just been with him is he explained why the logo is why it is and why he's named himself Hydra, and that's really cool.
He explained it on Rod the Rickon's UK takeover show.
Yeah, okay.
It was so good. I actually didn't think of it like that. And when he was talking about the fact that you take off one head to grow its place, and it's like collecting. Yeah, I thought that was really cleverly thought out.
He's such a clever guy.
Yeah, it's really annoying, really, isn't it?
So annoying.
I love him.
Yeah,
like, I'm talking away, and he'll say something, and I'm like, I wish I knew that.
Wish I thought of that. Damn it. That's great content for YouTube. Damn it. So you were talking about the Spawn comics earlier. I have a feeling it's going to be the answer to what is your most sentimental comic?
Oh, that would be the first comic I ever had. This bad boy. Look at the terrible spy ticks all down the one side.
I'm going to just put you on there.
That's it. I've taken over the show now. So look at these terrible spine ticks all down one side. It's also
what have you done?
Together.
Sellotape.
Yeah. I'll take it out and I'll show you. Because it doesn't really matter.
Why not? It's wrecked.
Yeah, I wouldn't even give it a 0. But like you can see where my mom, bless her heart, has tried to like sellotape it together, but not quite to flush.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't actually fit back where it should fit.
Oh my God.
But like, look at it. Sellotaped all the way down the spine. She's put
anyone from CGC watching this are going to cringe.
Yeah, she's put brand new staples in it. I don't even think the page is in the right order, but I just love it because it's the first book she ever bought me. Didn't know the fact that Spawn was violent and had nudity and all that. I was only 12, but I loved it. It's great. But yeah, it's the first book she ever bought me. I've tried to look after it, but because I took it apart to put my own pages in, I drew my own characters. I actually created a whole board game using this, like a bit like a Dungeons and Dragons style thing.
Okay, yeah.
I kind of wrote my own characters, banged it in, then I redrew everything out of here, including like Todd McFarlane's characters, and I made little statuettes. And then my grandfather put little wooden bases on them for me. And then I tried to come up with a really cool, elaborate game that nobody wanted to play.
Oh,
And I badgered them to play it with me. And then my dad burnt them to a crisp.
what?
No, he didn't. He just didn't want to play. I don't even know what happened to them. Or I just remember I put them in a box, giving them to my dad, and be like, I'll be back next weekend, so we'll play this. And then I went there and I was like, where's my stuff? And he's like, oh, what? I don't know.
What stuff?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What are you on about, mate?
So I'm glad I took this home with me, because otherwise I could have lost this as well.
Oh my god! So you made your own board game. So I'm a big board game fan.
Oh, right,
I know that Dino is a big board game fan. Do you reckon?
Oh yeah.
We could get it going.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
If you can remember the game.
I only recently got myself into Dungeons and Dragons with a friend of mine. Him and his son were playing it during lockdown, and I thought, oh, yeah, he invited me over. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll get involved. Why not? We did it's like a pirate themed one, and it was incredible. Okay. We had such a lot. It ended at the point where we were like slicing up orcs and taking their nipples and turning into frisbees and stuff, and it got a little bit elaborate. It was just incredible, and I really like the idea that whatever you do is determined by the dice. I just thought that was really cool.
100%. Yeah,
never played it though, and I 100% would recommend it to anyone that wants to enjoy a game that doesn't involve a screen.
Yeah, it's all in your head, and it's what happens is all up to you. It's all your whatever you think of. It can happen as long as you roll well.
Yeah.
I've been a dungeon master for a group of friends.
Nice.
It was just before all the lockdown stuff happened. There were 6 of them in my house. First time ever, they all sat at the table and they all just looked at me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, here we go." And it was really good. It was like a weekend long thing. I think in total over the weekend we played for 10 hours, nice. And it was really good fun. And we were supposed to have our second session in April, but obviously we're still waiting to do it. And yeah, I love it. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is really cool. Despite belief from other people.
I think it gets such a bad rep and stick. I'm probably, because like I said before, I got bullied when I was a kid, so I've become what they call a social chameleon. So I kind of fit in anywhere, and I kind of just go with whatever people are saying. Okay. So I've actually said before, I don't understand Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's a bit nerdy. And then I've actually give it a go, because I will always give things a go. And I loved it, and I think it's great. And I would be 100% up for doing it and like plugging it.
You find me a game where you can cut off nipples and use them as frisbees.
Exactly. Legally.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so good. I mean, my character was a Dragonborn. I think my character was a Dragonborn, and I ended up getting some kind of sword where I have to flip a coin to determine whether or not I kill anyone with it, rather than roll the dice. Wow. And I thought that was pretty cool.
50-50 chance, like
50-50 chance. Yeah,
that's very cool.
I think one of the things we did that actually as names the whole thing. So we call it the Apples campaign, because one of the first things we did, we went into a town as a kid selling apples, and my friend Nick tried to kick the apple cart over, but because he rolled a 1, he slipped and fell. And then I tried to do it, and then I only managed to kick one leg out of this apple cart, and the apples didn't go anywhere. So we ended up calling it the Apples campaign, because we didn't kick over this apple cart.
The best thing to happen in Dungeons and Dragons is rolling 1s.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I mean, you get first players and they're like, oh, I want to roll really high. And you're like, it's all well and good rolling really high, but that is probably the most boring way to play, because the lower you roll, the more you mess up. And then that's where the banter starts. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, why did you do that, you knob? And then, like, oh, I can't believe you did this. How come you didn't do that and everything? And it's like, oh, I rolled a 1. And you definitely get the most memories out of rolling low numbers.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I got shot in the arse with an arrow at one point. So I mean, and I've got no injuries, so that's the best bit. I mean, you don't get any injuries playing Dungeons and Dragons, which is great.
Unless it gets very heated.
Yes, yeah, I suppose. Unless you really upset the dungeon master and he starts throwing his dice about.
Yeah, just get a 4-sided dice. Sorry if no one knows what that means. In the eye. Just
Oh,
get
mate.
that.
When we first played, Jake, who is my friend Rich's son, who was the dungeon master, we were all sat on the table. And he turned around and was like, "Right, Tom, can you roll the eight die?" And I looked at all the dice and I was like, "Which one's the 8 die?" And I thought, "You." As soon as I'd said it, I thought, "You absolute idiot! Like it's obviously the one that has 8 sides." You know when you say things, you think I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. Are you a say before you think
Oh yeah, 100%.
kind of guy? Yeah.
100%, mate. I do it all the time.
Yeah. I bet it's got you into a few tricky situations.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was in a pub once and told a bloke that I thought he looked a bit like what's his name from Goonies? You know, the sloth. We were at the bar, and I was like, "Oh my god, you look just like Sloth from the Goonies." That was the last thing I remember. The only thing after that was I'd still got my pint in my hand and a black eye.
God. Oh man. Oh god.
But it's one of those things. You say things and you
things.
think I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. You live and you learn. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, you don't.
Right. I'm trying to think. Where were we?
So we've just done sentimental comics, but while we're on that subject,
okay,
I actually have got a sentimental comic that I got last year because I ended up going to New York Comic Con and I got to meet my absolute hero of J. Scott Campbell.
Another mate.
And I managed to get a remarketed comic, and it is my pride and joy in my collection, and it's probably the most sentimental piece I own, apart from the Spawn one, because it was the last trip I did. It was in New York with my missus, and we had the most incredible holiday, and I got to meet J. Scott Campbell. And I went to New York Comic Con, which I actually saved up for nearly 3 years.
Wow.
And had a kind of crowdfunder thing for people to help me get there. So yeah, it's probably my most prized possession.
That is awesome. So you've got 2 sentimental comics. One from one that your mother gave you.
Yep. And one I picked up in New York.
And one that you've picked up in New York from your absolute hero.
Absolutely. Oh, mate, he's the nicest guy. And I don't normally get starstruck. I would get starstruck with certain people. I did. I don't want to keep name dropping, but yeah, I got starstruck with J. Scott Campbell. Literally went to this kind of what they call a lunch with J. Scott. So I went for this lunch. He came in. Everyone's talking away. I'm just stood in the corner like. And then the worst thing about it was because I had to pay for it up front. I couldn't use my PayPal account, so I used my my partner's credit card to do it. So it was in her name. So when I went up to the counter and they were like, "So, and who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm Tom." And they're like, "Oh, we don't have a Tom on this list." And I was like, "It might be under Charlotte." And she was like, "You're not Charlotte." I was like, "Yeah, no, I know I'm not." But I'm Tom. I'm Charlotte's partner. So they let me in, and then the rest of the afternoon, J. Scott Campbell took the mickey out of me for being called Charlotte. He calling me Charlotte. But my mom always said to me when I was younger, she was like, "No matter what you do, always be rememberable." So at least he'll never forget me. I'll be the dude that rocked up at New York Comic Con and called himself Charlotte.
That's fantastic. I mean,
the following day at New York Comic Con, the coolest thing is the following day at New York Comic Con, I actually bumped into him at his stall, and he's like, "Oh, Tom, how are you?" Like, started talking to me. I was like, "Oh my god, he knows my name." And he's like, "Oh, well, we've got something for you." And he handed over this print, and he signed it to Charlotte, and then he handed it to my partner, and he's like, "It's really nice to meet you." And then he was talking to her about how we should go out for dinner at this one different restaurant. And I was like, "I can't believe this. This is my absolute hero." I mean, the only thing that could top this off is if Stan Lee was to come around the corner, but unfortunately that wouldn't happen.
No.
I did get to meet Todd McFarlane as well, but that's not as cool. He was cool though, but not as cool as J. Scott Campbell.
No. Well, why not?
Yeah, probably. Todd McFarlane's a really nice guy, I would say, but he doesn't have a lot of time for you as an individual.
Right.
So I actually ended up winning a chance to get to meet him and get my book signed. But we were herded in like sheep, and it was kind of like you get up, you get your book signed, you move on. It wasn't a case of having a chance to chat to him or have anything. But I guess that's because he's a really busy guy and he's extremely popular. So people are going to try and talk to him for hours and hours and hours. But he's nice enough. Not as cool as J. Scott Campbell though.
No. That's good. That's good. So tell us about this issue. You didn't say
All
what
right,
issue it was. What?
this issue is Spider-Man issue 14
Yeah.
from I think it's one of the most recent runs.
Okay.
So its actual legacy number is 815 according to the back. But it is J. Scott Campbell's cover F for this particular thing, and it's a sketch variant
Yeah.
of one of his statues that got made. So this actually was originally just a sketch for a statue that he did. It never got made it onto a comic book until this issue.
Wow.
And obviously he's drawn a Mary Jane and signed it for me,
That's great.
which is
I
awesome.
mean, I bet you were nerding out hard.
I was the only person wearing a shirt in the room.
What?
Everyone else like t-shirts, jeans, really casual. There's me, shirt,
Dressed to impress.
dressed to impress, pretending my name's Charlotte, asking really awkward questions like, where do you live?
What soup do you like?
Yeah. Actually, the guy next to me asked him for his Instagram, asked him what his favorite cheese was, and he's like, I don't eat cheese. And at that point, I was like, oh, that's a point off. How do you not like cheese?
Oh. He's like, you're not that cool.
Yeah,
Jeez,
not that cool.
weirdo.
Weirdo. But then he redeemed himself by like telling my missus that we should go to this restaurant. I was like, yeah, you're cool. If you've got time for my missus, I've got time for you.
That's fair. That is nice. That is nice. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. It sounds like you've had a great run in with all these fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing
related-
because for me, I've always been a nerd about comics, and I've always gone to the comic shop to pick up my books, and I've always been interested in artwork and stuff. But I never went to any comic conventions until my friend Sid, who used to run Comic Connections in Banbury, he was like, "Come with me to Bristol. I need some help lifting some boxes." And I was like, "Oh, you just want me for my strength. You don't want me for my company." And then me and him basically became best mates, and we did everything together. We went to all the conventions together. I got to meet all these people because he already knew them. And it's really cool. So without him, I wouldn't be where I am today, to be perfectly honest.
Well, you knew a guy.
I knew
loads of guys.
Loads of people who got me involved in this industry I'm in now, and I get to meet all you lot now.
Yes, even better. No, I'm not joking.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Top of my list, mate. Scott Shelf.
Thank you very much. Top of the shelf.
Top of the shelf.
Top of the shelf.
That's what I was going to say, and I thought, is that a bit cheesy?
No, well, I've said it now, so
there you go.
and I'm just going to wait for the comments from Perpetual and Comic Deal to come in now because they love to.
Boom. Yeah, about your pool.
The shelves. Yeah, they
They are cool shelves. I quite like them.
Thanks, man. I made them with my dad. Me and my dad made them. I did want to. When I got the house, I was looking around. What kind of things do I want up? I was on Pinterest and all this kind of stuff, and saw them. Someone was selling them for like £90. I was like, I'm not paying £90 for strategically placed wood. That's all that is. And I was like, Dad, I'm going to go buy some wood and some varnish. Can you help me out? And he goes, yeah, great. So it took us an hour to do all them. And it was just wood, nails, and glue. That's all we used, and varnish. And then I didn't put them up for like weeks because I had no idea which pattern I wanted to put them in. Honestly, I've got pictures still on my phone, just like different types of like
Did you have them on
arrangements.
the floor and you were like, right, I got them in that
Yeah.
this connection? Yeah, like that.
I did. But yeah, it took me ages, but I love my shelves. But the channel isn't based off these shelves.
No.
Those are like they're nice shelves. I like them, but I've got like right there, I've got like bookshelves there. I've got shelves upstairs. I've just got like everything that I like goes on a shelf.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's come from.
It's displayed, mate.
Yeah, 100%.
Unfortunately, we live in this like very small house. It's like a room on top of a room on top of a room, and there's not really anywhere to put anything. Once we get sorted in the future, I want to have all my CGCs out
On the wall.
They mean loads to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely on the wall.
That'd be awesome.
It might drive Charlotte mad, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Do it. Why not? It's your house too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at least 5% of it is.
Yeah, 2.5% each, isn't it?
As my dad always said to me, when you get married, what's yours is hers, and what's hers is her own.
Yeah, I'm not married yet.
Yeah, I was
That'd be
supposed
quite
to this year, but we've postponed to next
Oh.
year, and then probably going to postpone for the year after. But
Oh,
we'll get
man.
there eventually.
You'll get there.
Oh yeah.
100%. You'll get there.